Welcome to Hamilton County TV football coaches show. Justin Roden, Noblesville football coach, sitting next to me today. Welcome, Coach.
How we doing, Perry?
Good, good. Tough night Friday night. I mean, you guys played a tremendous game. I mean, this is a team that had scored over 21 points every game this season, has undefeated, and you basically held them pretty in check until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I read an article in the, I think it was the Star, that really, I'm going to say it wasn't very accurate. They talked about how the tailback had kind of dominated the game, and how really Brownsburg was in control. And to be honest with you, I felt like, especially the first half, we were the ones in control of that game. We did not finish in the first half. Some bad penalties from our end, holding, and maybe some penalties that were a little debatable, and then turnovers. We missed some opportunities in that first half to extend the lead, and I really felt like the game would have been different in the second half. If we're up 14-0 or we're even up 10-0, I think that changes some things a little bit. I give them credit. The third down and 10 throwback screen. Eddie Jennings off the field because he's hurt. From a kind of tough, we'll just call it a tough play. When the kid blindsided him, and he got being hurt, and they made a great call, and the kid made a long run, and that 90-yard screen play, or 80-something yards, whatever it was to be specific, really changed the dynamic of the game. I think that was halfway through the third quarter, and even then, we still responded and drove the ball back to midfield, and again found a way to kick ourselves in the tail, and at the end we got worn out a little bit, and that's the part really where I give Brownsburg a lot of credit. They changed some of what they were doing schematically. We had some guys out there that hadn't played 4 quarters, without not having Wyatt Blades and having to move Cody Leach to strong safety, and so we were down a linebacker, and then Eddie Jennings, our heart and soul, he's not on the field for a good portion of that second half, and even when he came back was not 100%. You can see him limping all over the place, and they did a good job of a few plays here and there, wearing it down and scoring, and I think more than anything else, we proved that we could compete. We didn't quit at the end there. It was really important for us to not to kind of give up, because we could have. We were tired, emotionally tired. We had battled, and some breaks just didn't go our way, whether it was the referee or was it a play here and there in the course of the game. But for a team that scored 70 plus points for Zions the week before, to have them shut out the half, to give up 17 points, I feel pretty good about that. And I had taken 17 before the game started and felt like we could have scored more than that. So finishing off that game versus Brownsburg, it was a really good opponent. We played fairly well. We just didn't find a way to win. I think this game is different than the other losses. In the beginning of the season, we didn't have an identity yet. Cathedral and Carmel, we kind of were in the game, but we just didn't, didn't believe. That first win versus Fishers really kind of got the ball rolling a little bit, and Zionsville, we actually played fairly well defensively, but we just had a bad day. This game, we competed in a hostile environment, a team that was undefeated, one of the best teams in the state, and we hung as tough as anybody against them all season. So it puts us in a good place in regard to where we're at as a program, but now we've got to find a way to come back this week off a tough loss like that and play an even stronger team and a lot of facets in Avon.
Well, Coach, the one thing about it, once again, it looks like I wasn't able to come. I was out of state, but the one thing about looking at the stats, the offense played a little bit better. I mean, we're not a great offensive team.
No.
And I don't think that you can watch our videos and everything and see that we're not.
Yeah.
But we are getting better.
We had to make a decision from a game plan standpoint. So Luke Blevins was really, really sick Friday, and he's getting breathing treatments before the game, breathing treatments at halftime, and he couldn't. He realistically, it wasn't fair for him to even have a helmet on, and I give him a lot of credit for trying to go out there and battle. And we just don't have anybody else. So for us, the game plan had to be to get it out and to throw it. And I think Barrett had 120-something yards catching. He had a great night.
7 catches.
Very, very pleased with Grant. Grant made some really good decisions. I think maybe just the one ball he underthrew in that first half on the wheel route. But other than that, I thought he played pretty good. We got the ball in some other people's hands. We threw for over 200-something yards, and we kind of did what we needed to do. We made some big first downs. The continual area that you just keep pointing your finger is that we got to do a better job in regard to protection. And we're down a couple guys in the offensive line, and we played some pretty good people. I mean, it's not like we're playing the little sisters of the poor. We're playing kids that are going to play on Saturday mornings that are rushing, and we have to do a better job. I know we're working on that, but our reward to play a little bit better and to improve pass rush wise is to play a team that's probably better inside the box than even Brownsburg. So we're working on it, but I was pleased with their performance. We can't turn the ball over, and we got to cut those sacks out.
And coming up here, let's move on to the game coming up this Friday with Avon, another good football team. It's kind of ironic that Avon's lost 2 games in the conference, and we have too, and it's been to the same teams. Okay.
Yeah.
To Brownsburg and Zionsville.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, but once again we know that we got to play. Hopefully Grimmel can have another good game at quarterback, and we can get a little bit of running game. But it all boils down to that defense. I mean, when Groover gets interceptions and we get some sacks,
absolutely,
and things like that. And in our ball game, the way we have to play now, I mean, Jack Knight had 3? Yeah, 3. Inside the 20.
Yeah, he had a great night. He had a great punting night. We were winning the field position game for most of that game.
And that's what we got to do. We have to win the field position game.
Absolutely. Avon is kind of like us, and they have some guys hurt. Friday night they got beat by Zionsville, but the coach, Mark will tell you they lost a corner, and Zionsville is, man, they're a Rubik's Cube. They've got an offense that is just loaded. In 1 week, they look like they're unbeatable, and then they kind of struggle from week to week. So, they kind of caught Zionsville on a night when they were throwing it really well and took advantage of some injuries that Avon has. So, both us and Mark's team, we have, this is a trap game. It doesn't really mean anything. You're playing a game. It's another league game. You're finishing the regular season, but we've got a goal of winning a sectional title, so it's kind of hard to, you have to make some tough decisions Friday. We have some guys that are hurt and beat up. Do we leave them on the sideline and give them 2 full weeks off with the bye to get healthy so that they're ready for the sectional game, or do we go out there and we play them and try to win with possibly making some sacrifices? And obviously the goal is to win every game, but Avon's got a tailback that's a little beat up, and a linebacker and some other guys. Again, everybody at this point in the season that's played 6A football, especially in this conference, or what I refer as big boy football, everybody's struggling with injuries, and so we're both kind of limping into this last game. And for us as a young program trying to establish an identity, we have to play well Friday. I watched this film last year. It was one of the first ones I watched. And it was embarrassing. We played really bad versus them last year. Avon,
they took it to us.
They scored early and
often.
yeah, and I don't use that expression, but I felt like in the film, and I wasn't the coach then, but I felt like the Millers quit last year. They gave up some points and kind of just snowballed and maybe just packed it in. And as a coach, that's a hard thing to stop when the kids feel like they can't win and things just kind of run downhill. So I really like to use this game as kind of a barometer. How I like to believe that Avon is as good as last year, even better than they were. And, I'd like to see if, where we were from the beginning of this year and even last year to where we are now. So we just, very talented team. on paper, obviously we're going to have a hard time scoring, and they've got some fantastic players on defense, but it'll be fun. It's the last game for the seniors at home, last guaranteed game at home, and on fall break, no school, lots of distractions, practicing in the morning instead of the normal time, and again, guys hurt. There's lots of excuses that we can make. So for us, we just got to, I'm not accepting those excuses. We just got to play well, and I feel like we will. We'll be well prepared.
They have a good quarterback coming in Hessen, number 10.
Yep.
But he is a sophomore, so
yeah.
He has some youth there that that sometimes you as a coach can give him some looks that he hasn't seen before.
They do a really good job, and I think he's thrown for like 1,300 yards, and he has like 13 touchdown passes, and he'll throw an interception here or there.
He has about 6 for the season.
Yeah, and it's kind of like any young quarterback. One a game. That they just you kind of take the lumps with a young quarterback like that, but he's got a great arm. He's good with his legs. The scheme that they run. He's not back there making multiple decisions. Usually they're quick reads, and he's got some good tight ends, a tight end that can catch the ball, and good receivers on the edges, and they put him in positions where he can be successful, high percentage throws, and for us, he is a sophomore. We have to, I felt like last week with Ben, we picked him off twice in the first half, and we did a good job. I really don't feel like the quarterback beat us last week and kind of kept most of the things in front of us. And I think it's another one of those situations. Beside the screen last week, we got to make teams earn it. Make them throw the hitch. Make them throw curls and tackle and do that all the way down the field. And if they do that, then I can live with that a little bit better than the 90-yard screen plays.
Yeah, because we got a pretty veteran defensive backs back there, and Groover's got a lot of interceptions this season. I think about 8 or 9 or something.
He's got. I think he's at 7, but I think he might even be leading the state. Coach Metz is much better about the numbers.
But he really sees the field well.
He does. The interception that he made on Friday, you could tell he's a baseball player. He ran back on it and got underneath it.
Yeah, he knows how to do it.
And Justin Sparks, another corner, is a wrestler, and I think both our corners tackle pretty well. I'm not saying they're the most physical kids, but they do a good job of tackling when presented with that, and that's a good combination to have. If they throw a hitch, I feel confident that our kids can tackle in space, and the next few weeks we're going to get that. We'll get that here with Avon, but especially in a couple weeks when we do get to Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, because on the season as a team, we have 12 interceptions. So that's
the scheme that we play is a zone defense, and so we want to
bend don't break, right?
Yeah, but we open up to the quarterback. I think that's the other thing too. When teams play man, and you're bringing lots of pressure. Man technique, you typically aren't looking at the quarterback. So one of the benefits of playing a zone pressure like we play a good portion of the time is that we're able to see the quarterback and make some plays. But we could have even more. I mean, Groover will tell you there's a few of them. I think even Cody Leach jumped in front of an outcut last week on Friday night that I think he's about an inch or two away from a pick 6. So the guys in the back are doing a good job, especially asking a kid like Leach to jump in there and play strong safety. He hasn't done it before, and he did a pretty good job. It took a while for him to kind of get his motor running, but all the kids are very proud of the effort so far. We gotta finish. We can't be content here to kind of just let it fall away, and that's the danger. Our kids in the previous seasons, they weren't playing for anything. Last week we were playing for a league title, and that's the most disheartening thing out of all this is that we were really close to beating Brownsburg, and this could have been the conference championship.
Yeah, this would be a huge teams.
Yeah, so both of us are kind of, a little bit upset, a little bit, down, and for them, their goal is to win a state championship, as is ours. We got to go through each other first.
Absolutely. Coach, let's just the drawing was Sunday. Okay, the show was on Sunday. We drew Lafayette Jeff.
Yep.
Okay, Lafayette Jeff 7-1.
Yeah.
Okay, with playing a not a very good Indianapolis Tech team this week.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts about Lafayette Jeff? I know we'll do another show.
Yeah.
Get into this a little bit.
Yeah,
deeper,
I haven't watched any film yet. Coaches
take it one game at a time. But
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But for us, it's kind of comical because our reward is to play another top 10 team in the state. It seems like that's all we do is play somebody really, really good. They're first, I think, in the state in points scored in 6A. I think they're in the top 5 in points allowed. So they don't give up a lot of points. They score a ton. They got a quarterback with like 40 interceptions and only a few picks. They beat Westfield last year. They hung with Carmel for a good portion of that game before they kind of got worn out. So without watching film and being prepared for them, I do know that they are a tremendous challenge. In Sectional 4, it's Westfield Carmel. There's no,
it's not an easy task here.
The bye is our sanity a little bit. We have a little bit extra time to prepare for a team like that has all those weapons, and I think a number of the kids catch the ball. There's 4 or 5 kids on that side that are skill players, and they have a defense that doesn't allow points. So, I would have liked to play them at home. We're not a great team on the road, but we'll worry about Lafayette Jeff after we survive the Avon storm this week.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Coach, for taking time out. I know that it's fall break for the school here, and like you said, the kid, you practiced early here this morning, so I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
We're good.
Good luck in your game in Avon. This is, like you said, even though it's not senior night, it's the last regular season game for these boys that have done a great job and contributed well in our program for 4 years.
Yeah, I was going to make sure I mentioned our grinders this year. They're doing fantastic, and I want to wish them luck. I think they're in their next playoff game and have exceeded expectations and continue to do well, which makes me excited about the future. And I know our NEFL teams are getting ready to start their tournaments, and they're putting kind of their this part's always fun for me because I hate calling them all-star teams, but they're kind of taking all the players and putting together one unified team to go out and try to play against teams that have been practicing in most cases all year together. So I wish those guys good luck in their games, and the future of Noblesville is bright, and I want to wish those guys good luck.
I know a couple weeks ago when both of us watched our middle schools east and west, there's some talented football players. It's got to make you feel pretty good on what's coming.
Yeah, I do. I wish someone would go a little faster and get up here, but it's good. Our youth coaches and our NEFL guys all do a great job.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach, and I'll see you Friday night.
Appreciate it, Perry. Thank you.